And guys, another winning Sunday in the NFL. Got it done yesterday. 4-3 on the card. Some of the sides there that were winners: Ravens +3, Jets +10. Those numbers both sent out earlier in the week. Crushed those lines, and totals stay red hot on the totals as well. Under in Cincy and Tennessee, a nice little backdoor there. Under with Tampa Bay, New Orleans, is dead under matchup. Second half under with Cleveland and Baltimore. One loser on the total was with the Jets and KC, and then also the losing side, Steelers, Panthers. But again, another winning Sunday there in the NFL. 4 straight winning Sundays, up over 28 units so far to start the NFL season. Crushing it, staying hot there. We got Monday Night Football game we'll get into. We'll recap some of the Sunday action. And the MLB season is in the books, up 28 units on the MLB season. Going to have a video out on the Instagram a little bit later breaking that in. And we got postseason just around the corner, getting going tomorrow. We're going to start with some of those breakdowns here today. Won't be an episode tomorrow, so make sure you guys check in here as far as all the playoff stuff for this first round of the wild card. John, staying good with the NFL. Got to be feeling good this Monday morning.
Yeah, nope. NFL's been great. It was had a great night's sleep after watching Mahomes slide down at the 2-yard line last night. And then I get it. Oh, yeah, it's so lucky, and you should have never won that game. We wait. Look, this is when you're taking the right number, and we preach it. Beat the number, you beat the game. We did get lucky in that game. Of course we did.
Especially this new pumpkin spice.
Just give me one sec. We got commercials playing on our other computer. But we would not have lost the game. We took 10. We sent that out Wednesday. We bet on that game Wednesday. Look, the sharp side was the Chiefs. Just trying to explain this on Instagram to all the guys that believe the NFL is fixed, and the NFL called up and told Mahomes to slide. It's amazing to me that there are so many gullible people in the world that are actually putting their money on this. So, but anyway, we took 10. Worst we could get if Mahomes doesn't slide is a push, and that's the strength of the numbers. Ravens game, another game we were monitoring as we are throughout the week. Either me or Ben, and sitting in front of a computer watching the Lions move, looking for info. When we see Deshaun Watson limited at practice both Wednesday and Thursday. Because practice, it brings me to a lot of my young guys won't know this clip, what I'm about to say. Go check out Allen Iverson.
Talk about practice.
Practice. Yeah, Allen Iverson, one of the most gifted athletes. Again, I don't know if you guys know this, of all time. He was the best high school football player in the country. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was so talented. So he didn't need practice. He did it. But everybody else around him did. He was playing with guys named Theo Ratliff and Aaron McKee. They're not household names. They needed to practice. And that's what everybody don't get. When you're not practicing, especially a quarterback or your quarterback in NBA is your point guard. If those guys aren't practicing, timing. It's all about timing. Being in a spot at a split second. So if you're not practicing, you're Deshaun Watson, that's going to affect whatever little pass game you got. Look, they're a run-heavy team to start with. But anyway, that's how we take a jump on the number. We take 3. Ravens goes high to a 2-point favorite. This is what it's about. We take Jets +10. That game goes down to 8. So if Mahomes doesn't slide down, we get a push. Hey, we'd rather get the win. But it happens both ways. Our loser yesterday, Carolina, one of our losers, Carolina, they're first and goal and at the end of the game. So here's the game. Could we cover? Even if we kick a field goal, we could get the push at +5.
Pull a Josh McDaniels there in that situation.
But we have first and goal. We're there for that game at taking the +5. One game we were wrong on, and we'll admit when we're wrong. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Houston, Texas. Houston was missing 3 of 5 offensive line starters. You're going up against the team going into yesterday with the most sacks. They did not record one yesterday. This Texan team playing some football. So that's the one game we were wrong on. We thought Steelers would be all over them, and the kids showed up huge, and they gave Pittsburgh an ass whooping and sent them back to Pittsburgh. But all in all, it's another winning day. We catch the Ravens. We catch the Jets late. We bury the totals again. New Orleans, Carolina total. That actually ticked against us. But there's another game. It's all about info. So these two teams play nothing but unders anyway, especially when they're playing each other. But when you got Carr, the quarterback, with a shoulder problem, what is he going to be lighting it up? No. Yes, we know Kamara was coming back for the Saints, and he did some damage, but Carr wasn't himself. You could see that. And again, goes back to practice. Going back to the practice, look at what Deebo Samuel did. Ayuk missed Thursday night against the Giants, but practiced all week. Huge game. Deebo Samuel missed practice this week. No game. 0 stats. And practice is so important, guys. So that's why we're on every practice. And if you had to beat the Bookie member, you'll see in our write-ups, in our previews, missed practice. You'll look good at practice in full. Practice is huge, especially for the main positions, like you said, quarterback. But with all that said, we'll take another winning day in NFL. And as Ben told you, another winning year in baseball. And I know it may not sound like a lot. 28 units. What 28 units represents, gentlemen and ladies, is 28% of your bankroll. So let's just say your bankroll, you started with $1,000. I'm just using simple terms. You will have finished the year with a bankroll of plus 1,280. That's if you didn't gradually go up as your bankroll got bigger. Well, that's a 28% return on your investment in a 7-month period. Try to get that. You can't get that even if you're with Berkshire Hathaway. So, pretty good investment. And I think, Ben, what'd you say? It was up over 28 units for the first month of football.
Yep, 28.25 in NFL in 1 month. And just so you guys don't think we're just pulling out 28 out of anywhere. It's technically 27.67 in MLB. So, but yeah, it's 28.25 in NFL, but a good start and month away from NBA. So about to get in that mix. Hopefully we can ride this bridge until NBA.
And what I'm trying to tell you guys is these are real numbers, not fake numbers that guys come out and they hit 76% and they hit 85% of their Super Whale max bets. These are the real numbers every day. The units, we structure our units from 1 to 5 units with very rarely a 5-unit bet. Most of our bets in NFL are 3-unit bets. We're talking about 3% of your bankroll. So 5% is a big bet. When I just see these comedians out there who's putting 15 units on a game, they don't know what a unit represents at that point. You're not going to bet 15% of your bankroll. And then you got guys that betting 150 units that obviously don't know what a unit represents. But anyway, just a bunch of silliness. You want a real handicapper, not some square that's trying to hustle, but a real handicapper that's been making numbers for over 40 years, that moves the numbers, that puts you on the right side at the right number. This is where you want to be.
Just to go back to what you had said before about, people saying last night with Kansas City, that it's rigged, this and that. A couple of things to that. One, I mean, if you think it's rigged, the refs were in the Kansas City's favor. So there's that going. But two, most important, about the slide at the end of the game. Do you guys remember last year at the beginning of the season, Browns, Jets, Browns are up by a touchdown late in the game. Chubb runs it in for another touchdown. They miss the extra point, go up by 13, and the Jets recover the onside kick after scoring a touchdown. They win that game 31-30. That is why you slide at the end of the game. So you don't have a disastrous finish off an onside kick and nonsense. You slide right there. And of course, it was to happen against the Jets. So Mahomes,
because we had the Browns in that game, and we looked at that game. Not more of a sickening game we could ever have.
100%. So that is the right football play to make. Forget the betting, forget Vegas, anything aside. That's the right football play to make, to slide right there. Don't even give the Jets a chance. And so that as far as the rig comment, why the hell did Mahomes slide there? Happened against the Jets just last season as to why you should slide there. And anyone claiming rigged on that, a little bit of a crazy game to be claiming rigged on.
And guys, I just said this on Instagram also. I mean, first of all, how to beat the bookie. What we initially did this for was to make the public sharper. Your average bettor is sharper better. But I have to tell you, at this point, it's still, the NFL is literally making fun of you with their commercials about the script. If you're not in on it, it's a joke. Like if you're not in on the joke yet, you not get it. It's a joke. There is no script. NFL, Vegas doesn't have to fix football games. They're going to win anyway. They don't have to load the dice at the dice table. They're going to win anyway. They don't have to pull from the bottom at blackjack. They're going to win anyway. And as I said, more than one person knows the secret. It's not a secret. Again, the guys that think that the NFL is rigged and Vegas calls a shot and NFL does this, these are the guys that still believe Elvis is alive, that the Loch Ness Monster. Come on, guys, get with the program. And again, could there be a rogue referee? Absolutely. Lived through the Tim Donaghy days. College refs, 100%. Could referees have their opinions clouded? Yes. Homers? Yes. You live in Alabama. You're a referee an SEC game. Yeah. You're in the MAC conference. Oh yeah, some of them motherfuckers are shaving points. Those things go up, but this widespread NFL calls the shots. That's not happening. Bad calls, a disgrace. How does Angel Hernandez have a job in MLB umpiring games? I have no idea. But these are mistakes. They're bad calls. They're calls clouded by they like a guy. I think I've told the story before with Will Clark. Happened to be with Angel Hernandez. He gets punched out on a terrible call. He says he happens to go out for a couple of drinks that night with the guys, sees Angel Hernandez at the same bar. Instead of ripping him a new one, sends him over a beer. He said from that point on, this strike zone was only this big. If it wasn't right down the middle to Will Clark. So he's a terrible ump, don't get me wrong, but it's not that he was betting on the games or fixing the games in a widespread conspiracy, a personal feeling. I like this guy, or the guys we've talked about it before. We don't like a guy like Allen Iverson, or whatever the reasons may be. So those things could move a referee's opinion, but again, no widespread conspiracy in the NFL. Just imagine how bad that would reflect on the game. They're enjoying phenomenal success, and now we got Taylor Swift bringing little girls to becoming football fans. So yeah, that stuff doesn't go on. Please stop the insanity. Again, bad ref, bad call, missed the call, a home allegiance. I got it. All those things are possible, but these fixing, you'd be hearing about it in the papers within weeks.
Well, we do have a Monday Night Football game tonight. We currently do not have a bet on it because we have not gotten the script for it. We haven't gotten the call from Vegas of what's the right side, but we'll give you guys the information we do have on the game here. Seahawks versus the Giants. Seahawks coming off a nice win against Carolina, 2-1 straight up and against the spread. Giants 1-2, 0-3 against the spread, coming off getting spanked against San Francisco on Thursday night. Do get a little bit of extra rest there. See a lot of people saying Seattle deserves to be a bigger favorite, this and that. The Giants played 3 games, 2 of them against Dallas and San Francisco, right up there in the top of the league as far as plus-minus differential. 2 of the top 5 teams without a doubt in the NFL. You could argue top 3 there. So this is, you got to take those losses with a grain of salt. Granted, they didn't look great against Arizona, but half that game against Arizona, they looked phenomenal. So what Giants team do we get tonight? What Seattle team do we get tonight? The extra rest plays into a factor. Seahawks did win the matchup last season 27-13. This feels like a Giant spot or nothing. A little bit of a bounce back, extra rest. We'll see how they play against Seattle. To me, Geno Smith and Daniel Jones, very similar quarterbacks and play styles, mobility, everything else. I lean to the Giants in this game, lean a little bit to the over in this one. Seattle tends to play a little bit of these high-scoring games with these lesser teams. We've seen that with Detroit. We've seen that with Carolina. I would imagine something similar here. And we even saw the Giants play a high-scoring game with Arizona. So I lean a little bit to the over and lean a little bit to the Giants in this one, but no bet on this Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, this is a tough one. The quarterback situation, look, the difference is one quarterback has got DJ Metcalf and Lockett to throw to, and that's what gives Geno Smith the advantage there. They've been awful, absolutely awful against the pass. They get a little help tonight. You got Jamal Adams coming back. He's been out since getting the big injury last year, and Wooten will be back also. So they get a couple of defensive guys back. Giants still issues. Barkley's going to miss his second week in a row. I mean, he's their big playmaker in that offense. and the left tackle, Thomas. He'll miss his third game in a row. Those two guys back, yeah, I could like the Giants a little bit. At the present time, my number on this game would be Giants +3, or I'd have no bet. I'm around 1.5 with my number on Seattle. No, the game has now since climbed to 2. I don't see the game getting up to 3. So this might be one of the few days that I'll go without a bet because it's not a Major League Baseball bet. But we've already made 3 bets for the weekend already, guys. You're going to want them. I'm almost tempted to give you one because it moves so many points already, but I'm not going to. I'm telling you now, no better time to become a How to Beat the Bookie member. We have overlapping seasons right now, baseball and NFL. Then when the NBA comes, still all one price. Unfortunately, if you haven't become a member yet, the price is now $99 a week. You can get it for $2.99 a month. And believe me, it pays for itself immediately. As we just said, 28% in baseball for the regular season and already up over 28% in NFL.
A month out from NBA. Things are going to get hot here. Hopefully they stay hot, I should say, actually. And MLB playoffs. Let's talk about it a little bit. So obviously the 4 wild card games coming up tomorrow. Those matchups going to be Rangers, Rays, Blue Jays, Twins, Marlins, Phillies, and the what's the last NL matchup there? D-backs, Brewers. Yep. So interesting wild card matchups. We can start diving into these, and then we'll talk a little bit just the structure of the playoffs as well. Talk about that bracket, who we might see coming out where. But first game here, this Rangers-Rays matchup, nice little AO matchup here. You have this Texas team who's coming off this series against Seattle. They had a chance to lock up the division to avoid the wild card. Couldn't get that last win there. Mariners wanted to play spoiler. And then you have Houston, who obviously ended up winning that division. Tampa Bay's really been coasting on the backstretch of the season. Obviously, they started off phenomenal. They had injury after injury, had the suspensions, different issues for them, but still played pretty good ball down the stretch of the season. And obviously, the best record at home this season, 53-28. So massive home edge there. Just don't know if the home edge is warranted. The juice on this number. It's Montgomery versus Glasnow. Montgomery's been terrific. 4 straight quality starts, 0.67 ERA. Glasnow's been getting roughed up a little bit, almost a 5 ERA in September, was decent his last start. Before that, roughed up in his 3 prior starts. Pitching edge Montgomery, lineup edge Rangers. Sure, you get a home edge there for Tampa Bay, but I don't think it's enough to make them this big of a favorite. It would be Texas or nobody for me.
This is a tough one. Guys, can the Rangers recover from blowing? They blew the West all the way to put it. They go into Seattle. Not only will they lose 3 out of the 4 games, they score a total of 8 runs, getting shut out twice. Texas, just a different team on the road as compared to home. On the road this year, just 40-41, under 500. And while they're third, scoring 5.44 runs per game, just 4.91 on the road, scoring 5.44 runs per game at home. So scoring more than a half a run less on the road. So big meltdown. To having a bye and being having a home field advantage to going on the road where they're under 500, losing 3 or 4, not scoring right now. Tampa Bay tied with the Dodgers for the best home record in baseball. They had that one little part of the season that they fell flat. Tampa Bay. Orioles got hot. They were never able to overtake the Orioles again. They tied them up in the first 2 games of that late series. Orioles won the last 2, and then pretty much from there on, you knew Tampa Bay wouldn't have another shot at it. Still finished, I believe it was 7-4 going down the stretch. Don't look, as far as the pitching, Montgomery finished a lot stronger than Glasnow did. So I got to give Texas the pitching edge. Just don't know how Texas is going to be able to recover. Bad weekend, bad long weekend in Seattle. Right now we're looking at a number of around 145. It may be a little high because Texas gets the pitching edge, but I don't see a reason for me to jump out on Texas unless this number went higher.
Yeah, that's an interesting matchup. The 2 teams who obviously just major losses: DeGrom, Scherzer, Franco, McClanahan. I mean, major losses, both sides of it. So we'll see what goes on there in that matchup. The other AL wild card.
Let's just talk one real quick, Ben, because we won't be doing one tomorrow. But just get into Rangers a little bit. I mean, they need this game tomorrow because after that, their pitching is a problem. They lost DeGrom, we know, from the beginning of the year. They go get Scherzer. He's gone. Eovaldi, who was pitching lights out in the beginning of the year, he's getting crushed. Gray, who was pitching great, he went on the IL. They're going to have to, it looks like, come back with Eovaldi game 2 and Haney for game 3 because they pitched Dunning also Sunday. So pitching's going to be real tough. This is their one shot, so it's a real must game. Rays will have the pitching advantage after that with Eflin and even Savali.
Yeah, they'll probably have to go one game with Heaney followed by Perez. They've been doing that a lot as well as Perez in long relief. So maybe they do that. Heaney takes 3-4. Yep. So we'll see how they get creative with it. This next matchup, AL as well, Blue Jays and Minnesota, the opposite. These two teams loaded with started pitching. It's kind of just going to be picking your poison of who they want to go with. First two is going to be Gausman versus Lopez in this game. Gausman, good end to the season, couple of quality starts, 13 shutout innings versus the Yankees. Was roughed up by the Twins this year. 7 runs in 10 innings and a couple of wins, though. And Lopez, solid in September, 3.68 ERA. Roughed up his last time out by the A's. Before that, a quality start. And Jays, they got to him earlier this season. 4 runs in 5 2/3. Been a bit worse at home. Let's talk about these two. These two teams, just talk about lackluster playoff success. Minnesota, 18 straight. That's about as bad as it gets.
That's wrong. They're not lackluster.
Yeah. Toronto, though, not much better. They're 1-8 their last 9 playoff games. So two teams haven't been performing in the playoffs. And who's going to snap the trend there? Twins, down the stretch of the season, I think it was the 5th best record in baseball. Only teams better. Your 4 best teams in baseball: Orioles, Dodgers, Braves, and the Rays. So there's, Minnesota's been in that conversation in the second half of the season. This is a lean of the Twins for me. I'm going to give them a little bit of an edge, but it's really tough to back an 18 straight losses in the playoffs. That's a curse at that point.
18 straight L's. Look, we've got to see who they will be getting back. The Twins, you've got to remember, you got Buxton, Correa, Royce Lewis, all on the IL. Polanco didn't play the last couple of games. So let's see what the Twins are going to have as far as health-wise coming tomorrow. But yeah, 18 straight. Look, they just have no success there. Twins are really good. They play good baseball at home, but Toronto actually plays better on the road than they've played at home. Great matchup. Little bit of an edge to Toronto, not much. Right now, we're looking at a pick'em game. If it's a pick'em game, I've got no bet on this one.
And we're going to head on over to the pair of NL matchups. This first one, just interesting situation here for the Diamondbacks. It's going to be Fat versus Burns. I did not think that Fat would be getting a wild card start, and I didn't think he'd be a part of the playoff rotation. He was decent his last time out, 5.2 shutout innings, 8 Ks, no walks. Before that, though, roughed up in a pair of starts. He's just been very hot or cold. And Burns, last 2 starts, 9 shutout innings, 10 Ks, 3 walks. They were kind of limiting the innings heading into the playoffs a little bit. Here's the concern with Burns, though, a little bit, is struggles at home this season. 4.28 ERA, almost 2 points higher at home. You look at his numbers against Arizona. At Arizona, 8 shutout innings. At home against Arizona, roughed up 7 runs in 5 innings. So the home struggle is going to carry over here into this matchup. Brewers, obviously, they had the benefit of kind of coasting down the stretch of the season, but they were still playing good baseball. Arizona, they didn't kind of clinch that wild card spot till late. Part of why Fat's going today, because they had to use Kelly and Gallen as scheduled in the rotation. It looks like those two will be going Kelly game 2, Gallen game 3 if they're able to get them out there. Massive pitching edge here for Burns, but like I said, those home struggles. So the value is very enticing here. Maybe take a look at Arizona. This is why you pay Burns the big bucks. This is why he's the ace. Tough for me to get money here on a guy who's realistically 4th or 5th in the man in the rotation against Burns.
Yeah, going to be tough to go against Burns. The only downfalls, besides the home struggles that Burns has had, they cut his innings short, and they were shutout innings. He finishes the season with 5 shutout innings at Miami and 4 more at home against St. Louis. 2 of your weaker hitting teams, St. Louis, at the end of the season. But Arenado and everybody else on the IL, horrible. And Miami, just one of the weaker hitting teams in the playoffs. So he had the benefit of that. But cutting down his innings. So about 4 starts back, he has that start at Yankee Stadium. He's going for a no-hitter. He goes 8 innings of no-hit ball, and then he comes out of that game, and he gets hit his next time out for 4 runs. But so he hasn't reached 6 innings since that start at Yankee Stadium. That's 4 starts ago. That's September 10th. Everybody develops routines. Your routine isn't getting to the 6th, and sometimes that comes up. Now, it could help him with rest this late in the year. He's looked sharp in these last couple of games. 10 strikeouts, 3 walks through the last 2 starts. Look, regardless, big, enormous pitching advantage over Fat in this one. Arizona played decently, 41-40 on the road this year, but another team that just struggled. They backed into the playoffs just because all they did in the last couple of weeks was beat the Cubs. That's how they basically got in. They lose their last 4 games. Arizona scoring a total of 3 runs. They were 8-2 in the 10 games prior to that, but a lot of those wins against the Cubs, and that's how they basically get in, by knocking the Cubs out. Cubs just an absolute nightmare down the stretch. Big number here, paying the price if you want Burns. To me, it's still an overlay. This is a playoff type team, Arizona. But do I want to go against Burns? We'll see where that number is later on tomorrow.
And then you have the Marlins at the Phillies NL East wild card matchup. One of the better pitching matchups, Luzardo versus Wheeler here. Luzardo, 4 of his last 6 starts were quality starts. Wheeler, he's coming off a nice little quality start stretch, was good in September, roughed up a little bit his last 2 times out. Both of the starters good against each other in the matchup this season. Luzardo, 2 quality starts. Marlins won both those games with the Phillies. Wheeler, 3 quality starts versus the Marlins this year. They did lose 2 of those. And then the playoffs last year, I mean, Wheeler just was one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher of the playoffs last season. 1-3, 2.78 and 6 starts, 4 of them quality starts. Made a big run on that Phillies World Series run. Experience edge is massive here for the Phillies in this stretch. I mean, Marlins haven't been in the playoffs in a little while, not to mention any of the guys on this roster. So experience factor, a big thing here. Matchup as far as in the season series, Marlins played them tough. They won 7 of the 13 meetings. So we'll see if that continues here. Definitely some value there in Luzardo. Question is the experience factor. But betting-wise, just looking at the numbers, would be Marlins or nobody.
Yeah, and Marlins won 4 of 6 at Philly, so they can win on the road there. Philly, a good road team. Marlins, not a 500 road team. Marlins did finish a little bit strong, winning 5 out of 7. Philly, they had that nice little win streak, 7 straight that locked up the top wild card. So they've been on cruise control. You hate to see these teams have to restart the engine. You know what I mean? They went into City Field and they lost 2 of 3. They lost the last one in Philly, so they're going to go in losing 3 of 4. Can they get it restarted? Last year, if you remember, they ended on a hot streak, went from the wild card right into the World Series. So they'll try to do that again. Wheeler definitely gets the pitching advantage here. I'm not going to give him an overwhelming pitching advantage, though. Luzardo has pitched good, not so good on the road. And Wheeler, his last 4 starts, he's given up 5 runs in 2 of those 4. So he can be hit. Marlins do better against lefties. So there's that edge there. Another solid number, maybe a little bit high. But unless it goes higher, I wouldn't be interested on the Marlins.
That's those 4 wild card games for Tuesday. Like I said, we'll not be here tomorrow. We'll be back on Wednesday. And then as far as the playoff picture, we can just talk about it a little bit here. I mean, speaking of the bracket, as far as the winner of the Twins-Jays wild card, they get the blessing of the Houston Astros, who own the AL. And then the winner of the Rangers-Rays wild card will get the Baltimore Orioles, who have the best record in the AL. And the other NL wild card, and you're going to have who gets the Dodgers, who gets the Braves. Looks like Brewers or D-backs getting the Dodgers. Marlins or Phillies, one of those NL East teams will get the NL East, the best record in baseball, Atlanta Braves. John, do you have any predictions here, wild card wise, of who might come out and cause some problems for some of these teams who have won the buys going into the first round?
Well, the prediction was from the get-go, Braves and Astros, and I at that time said I hate to go with the 2 chalks, but that's just who it's going to be. Could have liked the Orioles a little bit more if they had Bautista. Really think that's a tremendous loss now in postseason. All the games are tighter games. You're going to look for a lot of one-run games. Both teams would have been big in that spot. The Orioles are the new kid breaking into this postseason. We'll see how they handle those pressures. So it's to me, it's the old dogs, Astros that have been there, Braves that have been there. Braves, 5 guys that have got 30 or more homers, tie the all-time record for the homers in a season. They're the 2 chalk teams, but to me, that's why they're the 2 teams that should be there. Could we get a surprise? Texas, just too much pitching they're missing. Can't see them surprising anybody. And then now the hitting's gone sour. The Rays, you lose McClanahan, your ace. You lose Wander Franco, arguably one of your better players. They're just missing too much. Twins, just not ready for prime time with the big boys. You got to lean to the blue. They haven't won. I think it's since 2004 in the postseason. Haven't won a game. So can they make noise? I don't see it. Toronto, you look at them on paper and you just feel they should be better. Guzman, Barrios, Bassett, even Kikuchi gives them some innings. You look at that lineup, and you've got Guerrero and Bichette, and you just say Chapman. They should be better, but they're not. They're good, but they're just not where they should be. So I don't see them causing many problems either. As far as the NL, more of the same with the Brewers. Look, there's no surprise, guys. There's 3 teams from the NL East and 3 teams from the AL East because those are your power divisions. The West is obviously the next in strength-wise, and and they have 2 each, 2 from the AL, 2 from the NL, and the Central has got 1 each, a division winner because it's your weakest division. The Brewers, what they do have, they have a nice little 3-man pitching rotation that has gone strong at the end of the year. Burns, Woodruff, Peralta, all 3 looking really good. So if there's one dog or outside team, that could be the team because, as I said, good pitching stops, good hitting.
Yes, it does, and we'll see how that. I mean, that's the thing with the 2 NL. I mean, really, pitching's banged up across the board. You look at Texas, Baltimore with the bullpen issues. Houston has some banged up shit going there too, but Dodgers, Braves, especially just banged up in the pitching realm. As far as those NL wildcard spots, I mean, I agree. I think Brewers have a chance to make a run if the pitching gets hot and goes on one of those runs. Phillies in that dynamic as well, and obviously some of their other pitchers in the rotation haven't been as lights out, but they have the capabilities of the ceiling to get on that kind of a run there. As far as the AL, the way I kind of see it playing out, I mean, obviously Houston's kind of ran things. It's going to be tough without Bautista for Baltimore. I do think in the AL, the Orioles are the best match for Houston. If Texas comes out of that wild card and beats Baltimore, Houston owns Texas. I don't think Tampa Bay has the pitching to go make the run for it. So this would be interesting. The only team I see beating Houston is Baltimore. We'll see if that can happen. They played them tough this season. They played them tough last season. And Texas, I think Texas has a chance to beat Baltimore just because of the bats. The bats can go on that run. But I think we've seen this year, if Tampa Bay wins that wild card, Baltimore's had the Rays number this year. That kind of break a trend that was going back the last 3 years where Rays really own the Orioles in their down years.
Yeah. The teams that get a little break, Braves, Dodgers, Orioles, and Houston, having that first week off, getting your pitching right, getting your pitching in order, that's huge. So it's always tough to come out of the wild card, but hey, the Phillies did it. It can be done. It's all about getting hot at the right time, and that's why I'm saying teams like the Rangers, they're coming in ice cold. 2 runs a game in their last 4 games at Seattle. Arizona, 3 runs in their last 4 games. Yes, they did, the last couple of games didn't mean anything to them, but you start picking up habits. Marlins, they had a tough little schedule their last game. They finished on the road, and now they're on the road again. So they were at Citi Field in New York. 1 game rained out, 1 game suspended by rain. They're in New York till late hours. They don't get until Pittsburgh till 5 a.m. the next day. play a weekend series in Pittsburgh, and now on to Philly. So they've had a tough little bit of travel while Philly's basically cruised. They gave their guys some time off. So all these things take into account. We'll look at that. Like I said, I'm looking at these games one at a time right now. And I haven't made a bet yet so far. So we'll see where those lines go.
I'm going to predict a Phillies rematch against Houston, and Phillies get it done this season and take the goal. We'll see if that ends up happening there, and we'll see what goes on in the wild card. So that gets going tomorrow. We went over the Monday Night Football game, Sunday recap, another winning season in the MLB, another winning day and week in the NFL, and hopefully we keep that going. As you guys know, if you haven't yet, sign up on the app or the website, howtobeatthebookie.com, or download the How to Beat the Bookie app. John, you got anything else to send us out?
No, great time of year, though. Playoff baseball, NFL, NBA right around the corner. We just started talking about this on Instagram. Big monster signing with Damian Lillard going over to Milwaukee. And just seeing yesterday, Celtics talking about acquiring Jrue Holiday from Portland, who went in the Dame trade. What a Eastern Conference Finals you could be looking at. Milwaukee, Boston, Jrue against his old team. Celtics have made some additions. Some great basketball going on. Can't wait for NBA guys. Like I said, there is nobody beats the NBA numbers like me. If you have a DraftKings account, you want to be a How to Beat the Bookie member. They put their lines up 36 hours ahead of time. 12 o'clock today for tomorrow's games. We cripple the line to the point of absurdity that we should be arrested. We're like robbing them. We should be arrested for what we're doing to them. So yeah, if you're having a DraftKings account, you're going to want to become a member definitely before NBA. Again, what we do is win. Do we have losing streaks? Yes. I'm not that guy out there yelling and screaming. I guarantee bury this game, throw it all up. No. Nice and easy. The tortoise beat the hare. At the end of the day, that's when we're going to get the money. At the end of the season, we're off to a terrible start in MLB this year. Some hot spots, some cold spots. At the end of the year, it's almost a 28 unit winning. It's 28%. Just to go back to other things, guys. Earlier in the year, if you go back in the tapes, Ben had posed a question to me. We had Luis Arias hitting over 400 at that time. What I think he would hit. I threw the number at 350. He hits 354. I know a little something about this game. I've been around a long time. When I'm betting the Jets plus 10 and the game closes 8, if we tell you to bet the Ravens plus 3 and they close the favorite, this is what we do every day. So again, it's not we're just throwing darts. We're picking. This is what guys out there try to sell you. Pipe dreams. Jets could have lost that game last night. Man, when it was 17-0, I text Ben, oh, this is getting ugly. So that would not have changed the fact that the Jets were the right side. And you said, well, how could they be the right side if they would have lost? Because that was where the numbers going. Always remember the expression, follow the money. Here, you follow the line. The line is telling you where the numbers go. Every square in the world was on the Chiefs. The money don't go where the squares go. It goes where the sharp guys go. What we do is put you on the sharp side at the sharp number.
That's what it's all about, guys. If you guys want to do that, go check out the app, check out the website. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe below. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.